Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the Whirl Eater Extreme. This is the newest primal battle unlocked in the main scenario questline as of patch 2.2 in Final Fantasy XIV through the Maelstrom. With this video, we'll be jumping straight into extreme mode, so I hope you've got your swimsuits ready. My name is Mistech, and I'll be your dungeon guide. To try to keep this video as concise as possible, I split it into two guides. This guide will focus primarily on the mechanics of the fight, the boss's rotation, and how to handle them. If you're looking for more in-depth tips on how to dodge the spinning dive and body slams, you can check out that video here. Since a lot of the smaller mechanics happen throughout the fight, I'm going to quickly cover these first. Leviathan will target healers with Whirlpool. This is a point-blank AoE that will do damage to the healers and anyone standing too close. Since our healers are usually positioned somewhere in the middle, the rest of the group will spread around them. When Leviathan's tail comes up, we have one tank on the head and one tank on the tail. The tail will cast scale darts on its primary target no matter where they are in the platform. The head will cast Dread Tide, a straight column attack on its primary target. This attack is very similar to Mountain Buster and will hit anyone in a straight line in front of Leviathan's head. The main tank should stand in such a way as to direct the Dread Tide off of the platform, away from the rest of the raid. Leviathan will also hit anyone around the head with Aqua Breath, an attack that does almost negligible water damage. The head and tail also have reflect buffs on them, limiting what kind of damage dealer can hit each. The tail will reflect any magic damage, while the head will reflect any ranged physical damage. Your DPS will split between the head and the tail depending on which one they can hit. However, the head and tail share a health pool, so you don't have to worry if your damage dealers are not perfectly balanced. Leviathan will also cast Briny Mirror on whoever is second on his player will debuff the healer with stacks of Briny Veil. Each stack will lower the range of your heals up to 16 stacks, at which point the healer will be stunned. Our healers prefer to call out when they are around 4 to 5 stacks and switch which tank they're focusing on until their stack falls off. Note that Stone Skin, Scholar Pets, and Regions do not apply extra stacks, so use these as gainfully as possible. Every 10%, Leviathan will cast Tidal Roar, a group-wide AoE. Healers should be ready with AoE heals for each one. Tidal Roar will also mark the transition into each phase in Leviathan's upcoming spinning dives. During each transition, right before he begins to dive, he will also target the two furthest players from the center with Grand Fall, or water bombs as we prefer to call them. This mechanic is similar to Ifrit's Eruption and will drop 2 or 3 water bombs beneath the player. To deal with this, we have the entire group stack on the outer edges of the platform after Tidal Roar to bait the water bombs away from important key points that we'll use during the dives. Once the first set drops, the group will move into their assigned locations in preparation for the dives. If you get hit by these bombs, you'll be debuffed with Heavy, making it more difficult to dodge each dive and the subsequent body slam. Now that we have a few of the more frequent mechanics out of the way, we can start from the beginning and start to piece everything together. We begin fighting Leviathan's head in the north section of the platform. At around 90%, he'll disappear and hit us with his first body slam. Run to the opposite end of where the water spout comes up and get ready for phase 1. At this point, we'll be fighting Leviathan's tail and head, so DPS need to split accordingly. The off tank should focus on getting as much of their threat rotation on the tail before the adds spawn. The first 2 adds to spawn are Wave-Toothed Sahagins, which will always spawn in the north regardless of Leviathan's orientation. The off tank will grab these once they come up and the DPS will burn them down. The adds do cleave and have a tail whip, so be careful not to stand too close. Paladins can cover any melee if necessary. Once the adds are down, switch back to Leviathan and burn until the first Tidal Roar. Everyone runs to the outer edge of the platform and waits for the first set of water bombs to drop. Once the first set is down, the group will run to their assigned key points and prepare to dodge 2 spinning dives and 1 body slam. Should you get hit by the spinning dives, you'll be afflicted with a water resistance debuff that cannot be dispelled. This lasts for a long time and can stack, so do your healers a favor and avoid these as much as possible. The dives will also put you backwards, and you won't want this happening later in the fight. While most groups will stack on specific locations throughout the fight, we prefer to just have assigned spots during the dives. Other than that, healers are generally in the middle of the platform closer to the tanks, and the rest of the group stacks behind them in Cure 3 range. How you position will depend on what your group is most comfortable with. After the body slam, a single Sahagin caster ad will spawn. This ad has 2 Hysteria abilities that can easily wipe the raid if allowed to cast. One cast will fear anyone in range, and the other will place a puddle of fear on the ground and will fear anyone that steps into it. Obviously, it's best not to let any of these things happen, and if the ad begins to cast, it's already too late. The caster is only susceptible to stuns before he is casting. The way we handle this is to have our paladin begin to stunlock the ad at around 70%, while the rest of the DPS burns it down. With this method, you need to be able to kill the ad before diminishing returns on the stuns occur. Once this ad is down, get back on Levy until the next Tidal Roar. Again, water bombs, dodge dives, avoid body slams. This next phase is where the DPS check comes in. If you've noticed, throughout the fight we've had a meter displaying our elemental conversion. This is the mechanic that will allow us to survive Leviathan's ultimate attack, and we need about 30 EC to survive. The trick here comes with the next set of adds to spawn. In this phase, Leviathan will spawn 4 watery spumes around the room. These spumes will only damage the elemental converter and will continue to do so until they are destroyed. As such, all DPS must switch to these immediately. Have your single target DPS focus the adds in the back while your tanks grab the front and the multi-dotters can go to town. When a spume dies, it will do a group-wide AoE blast that the healers have to deal with. Ideally, you'll have 3 if not all the spumes down by the next tidal wave. If your DPS is a little slower, you'll have some time to destroy your last spume after the next body slam. Once all the spumes are down, you'll notice that the elemental converter begins to recover. You need about 30 units to survive Leviathan's ultimate, and healers should be ready with heals and shields. Once Leviathan does his Tidal Roar and gets ready to jump away, the panel needs to be clicked so that the platform can be shielded from Leviathan's ultimate. Without that shield, it's an instant wipe. The blast will also destroy all the railings around the platform. This is the point where Leviathan becomes Titan of the Sea. After the blast, Leviathan will do another body slam and resume his rotation. From here on out, you are in danger of falling off the platform if you don't dodge correctly, so everyone needs to pay attention. The 2 melee adds will come out again, this time in the south. Deal with them as you did originally. Dodge his spinning dives as usual, but be on the lookout for those tricky side and middle dives. Getting hit by these dives pushes you back a little, and if you're out of place, you might get knocked off. After this set of dodges, another set of spumes will spawn. By now, you should have LB3 up, and we like to use it on the front 2 spumes and Leviathan. The rest of the DPS will focus on destroying the back adds. Healers, be ready since you'll be blasted with a lot of AoEs in quick succession here. Leviathan will also spawn 4 blue plumes that should be off-tanked. They cannot be killed, and instead will do a massive damage to their primary target after a short time. We get our off-tank to pick these up and hold them. Right before they explode, we get him to pop a heavy cooldown to survive the blast. Click the panel and live through Leviathan's second ultimate, heal up, and get ready to burn through the last few phases. You'll get another Sahuagin caster add. Again, be sure to sunlock him at around 70%. Hysteria without railings can lead to people unwillingly walking off the platform, so it's imperative that you destroy this ad as fast as possible. If you've made it this far into the fight, it's smooth sailing to your loot. Remember that you can still easily wipe if people don't dodge correctly, so keep your eyes open. And there you have it. Congratulations on your awesome new loot. You'll notice that I'm not making a video for Leviathan hard mode. From my experience, it's fairly easy to complete in a full DF pug. If you can follow the mechanics listed here, you'll have absolutely no trouble with the hard mode. If you still have any questions or comments, please let me know. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.